All right, so sometimes when we help other people, it doesn't really seem like we get anything in return. And I mean, that's kind of the point of helping other people. It's not about you, it's about them. But we also saw through that video that a lot of times when we help others, it usually comes back to us in some way. I mean, it's easy to think about ourselves. Like, I want pizza for lunch, I go get some pizza, I eat the pizza, it's good. Like, that's pretty easy to think about myself. It's harder to think about other people because we have to change our mindset. And a lot of the times we think we're going to have some instant results, that we're just going to go do something and then instantly I'm going to get gratification from it. But sometimes, like we saw with the construction worker, it takes a while for it to come back to us. And our whole life is just that, I think, playing out over and over again. But what we're going to talk about today is you guys having a changed mindset to think about helping others rather than just thinking about ourselves. So think about helping others first. And that word first is very important because we're talking about this as a discipline, something that doesn't come easily. It's not easy to think of others first. And so today we're going to talk about that a little bit. Here's a question I want to ask you. We're talking about 3 different things today that help us kind of change our mindset, to help us help others, because this whole series is about think more, and today is about being helpful. All right? So number 1, simple question is, how can I help? How can I help? You might have this question. I think a lot of times in life, we go through certain things, like maybe we go through some hard times, we go through some bad stuff, but then I believe we go through that for a reason, so that we can turn around and help other people go through that same thing. I mean, nobody on this earth goes through their struggles alone. There's tons of other people on this earth struggling right now with what you're struggling with. And so we need to learn how to turn our weaknesses into strength. Think about people who worry a lot. A lot of the times, people who worry a lot can become coaches and be very successful at it. Like for me, in high school and college, I worried a lot about my grades. And so it was almost the fear of failure was my driving force to achievement. And it really wasn't a great time. College was not a great time for me because it was all about just achieving and fearing failure, where I could have been enjoying the process all along. So now I get to coach kids. I get to tell them how they can live their lives better. I can tell them how to redirect their thoughts into ones that aren't self-based on worry, but how to help others. What about some people who struggle with self-doubt, self-image, other things? Usually they become counselors or psychologists or psychiatrists. These people went through something and somebody helped them and they want to turn around and do the same for other people. How about you guys? Do you deal with stress a lot? Who's stressed out? Yeah, you do with stress. Well, the cool thing is, when we grow up, if we learn how to harness that stress and how to deal with the stress, how to organize our thoughts, we can become better leaders. In fact, some of us in this room could become CEOs of companies by how we deal with our stress. And so for you guys, you need to learn how to use bad situations to help others, which in turn will help you. Here's something else we need to do. We need to understand how to use our gifts. We've all been blessed with different kinds of gifts. We have different talents, we have different personalities, and we're called to use them to help other people. Maybe you've been blessed, you are very artistic, or you're very athletic, or you're a good teacher or a good leader. The key for you is to do what you do best to help others do their best. I'm going to say that again so that sinks into our minds. Do what you do best to help others do their best. Yeah. Different personalities. We have different kinds of personalities. Some of us have been blessed by being a born leader. People just follow you. Maybe in a situation to help others, be that person that can give direction to a person. Or maybe you're really good at organization. You can think systematically. Well, if your friend or your family have problems, you can be the one to kind of find out a solution. And maybe you're a stabilizer type of personality. These people are really good at being that rock, being that person that you can go to with your problems. Maybe you are that person. Maybe you have that person in your life. Either way, you're using your gift to help others. So using our gifts is very, very important to understanding about thinking about helping other people. Last thing we need to ask ourselves is, how do we have this mindset? So how do I change my mind? Changing your mind, it might seem like you can just do it like that, but changing the way that you think is actually a lot harder than you think it would be. The first thing that we need to do is dedicate ourselves. We need to dedicate yourself. And here's what I mean. Find time every single day to remind yourself of the needs of others. Remind yourself of what you do best and how you can use it to make other people their best. Statistics say that you need to form a habit by doing something 21 days in a row. That's like 3 weeks. So if you do that, you're forming habits and you're reminding yourself. Something that could help you change your mindset when it comes to helping others is something that I call if-then planning. We can plan our day by the if-then planning. So for instance, if you're presented with a situation. So if I come home and my house is dirty, then I will clean it up. That's just a for instance. Maybe you struggle with that more than other people struggle with that. But if we think in this way, if we think in if-then, if we run through situations in our head ahead of time, then we're able to better operate when those situations are presented to us. So form those habits. That can really get into your head. And something else that we need to do is become a bumper. How many of you guys are good at bowling? Like, not very many. This is not a skill that a lot of people have. In fact, I thought that I was pretty good like a month or so ago when I went bowling, but I don't think I even bowled more than like 120 or something like that. And so it's not even close to being like a good bowler. But what I loved when I was a kid is having the bumpers on the side. The bumpers on the side were the best part because you can just like chuck that ball however you want. And no matter what, usually it hit the pins, unless you chucked it like way too hard and you did it wrong. And then the guy who works there got really mad, came up to you and threw you out. Not that that happened to me. So we need to understand how to be that bumper. So here's what I mean. Anytime you feel like your friend or your family member is kind of drifting towards a direction that they're not supposed to go to, be that person that nudges them in the opposite way. A way to nudge them would just be by a compliment or by holding them accountable. Just kind of push them to where they need to be. You're not called to fix their life. You probably can't fix their life. But being a bumper, constantly having that mindset of pushing people where they need to be, gives you the right ideas that you need to be a helpful person. So don't neglect helping others. Success in life is not about you. Being successful is not about making something good about yourself great. Being successful is not about making your name great, becoming famous. It's about setting others up for success. So make the success of others your success. Peace out.